Okay, hi Eric Dalbin.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for doing the interview. And we know each other for like, I think more than 20 years. We were roommates for a short time in Paris. And which area? That's Chateau Rouge. Yeah, that's how it's called.
Yeah, like around Montmartre.
Yeah. That was very nice. I discovered that what's his name? The famous artist, the artist. Now I just
Marcel Duchamp.
Yeah, he lived just around the corner. Did you know that?
No.
From where we stayed. He was like 5 minutes away. I think he stayed there. Marcel Duchamp. Anyway, I'm happy to interview you because I know you for half of my life, and we met in a nice restaurant in Marseille.
In Montpellier.
No, Montpellier. Yeah, Montpellier. I would like to do it in Marseille, but we did it in Montpellier. And I always saw you as doing like really believing in doing like a super niche business. You always wanted to do something that's extremely niche, and that always seemed to me like some kind of a big risk. And I didn't really understand it, but now after 20 years, I see you building it and building it. So I think you had like an amazing vision 20 years ago, which I don't know how many people understood. And you're still doing the same thing, and it's still very niche. It's a combination, as I understand it, of art, design, technology, and you like to mix these things up. And you're just like, that's it. You understand very, very early in your life, you want to do this super, super specific thing, and that is mostly aesthetic, that you felt drawn to it, and you're going to be doing it, I guess, forever. If you would live 1,000 years, you would be doing it, And I remember also recently, a few years ago, I went with my daughter Sophia to Pompidou, and you had like a whole room there. I was like, oh, I haven't seen you for years before that. And I was like, that is Eric's project. You had like a whole space in Pompidou with your company name, with your name. So that was cool. So I'm using you as an example of someone who is like had a vision early in life, and then is sticking to that, and is like growing it, making it work. So can you tell me, like, just explain it to me. What is your vision? What's your guiding thing for the last 20 years before we talk about practical things?
There's some kind of a very deep inner choice to listen to my intuition for a very long time. I think I believe it come from my mother that trusted me in like some of the crazy ideas I had when I was a teenager and wanted to be an entrepreneur, and it was a very inspiring for me to start making things with like people I had around me. And I was lucky enough as a teenager to enter the electronic music scene that was very underground at the time, meaning like it was pre 96. And I was very young, and this was for me the first kind of cultural shock. And it was not only music, but it was also visual and cultural in a general sense. And for me, it was like the music of the future. It was nothing like anyone was doing, So this is, I think, one of the roots of why I'm doing all this is first, electronic music was also with technology. And so, yeah, I would say music was my very first passion. And since then, I just kind of followed the passion and kind of integrated all of them, along the way with, the people I meet. I'm lucky to just happen to meet people, even like you. When I met you, it's like, like you meet one person and it opens to a whole, new perspective of even of life, So it's first of all, it's meeting, inspiring musician, artist, and designer, and programmer, And, you know, like I like this idea that a lot of people talk about technology like it's an abstract thing, but technology is a language and it's people that write this language. And as you also point out a lot of time, this language can almost be poetry, you know, so it's a state of mind of what you use this for. And I try to use my entrepreneurial energy to support artists in what I would like the future to be, I would say. So that's just that I applied my time to, you know, art and culture project.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're constantly inventing new ways to do the, you know, as you say, art, culture plus technology, you know, because that's what I noticed, you know, like you are not happy. You made a choice not to be a standard curator, not to be a standard producer. I mean, I've seen you in the last 20 years always saying no, no, no. I think you said like 1,000 times no to do what you want. And then you go and you try to explain whatever you did, you know, like the video table and also the Pompidou, you know, presentation, the room that you did there. I mean, it's like I was there. The Pompidou was like a standard, you know, you have the permanent collection, they had some show, and then there is this like weird thing.
Yeah, it's like really like the first bridge I tried to make was from having a music label, Logistic Records at the time, that I co-founded with my childhood friend Alexandre. So we were just like so passionate, and at some point we wanted to be part of this music scene, not just like just being a DJ or producing parties, but really like you know, trying to release records from musicians that we loved. And so this included like Detroit artists and, you know, then Berlin. So it was just passion that leads this. But at some point, you know, it was like early 2000, the end of the 90s, and internet arrived and all this music industry in which even if we were like niche within this musical industry as an independent techno label, I would say, I could easily see that they were investing in the wrong direction. They spent all their money just trying to stop internet, like, you know, we're going to stop Napster, and, you know, and instead of spending money in research and development to propose new ways to distribute music digitally, they were really like, you know, we're going to control this, like, which seems like really stupid at the time, you know. And so the result was that for at least 10 years, the music industry just like collapsed entirely, you know. And so this combination of, you know, what I could see was happening, and also it was too niche for me, also like the electronic music scene. I wanted to, you know, breathe some fresh air, and I always had like friends being like in graphic design. You know, I was always like very interested in graphic design, first for visual identity and, you know, for the label, for the parties we were doing. But, you know, then you're curious, and just like you listen to records all the time, I started to like open books in library, and it's like I would say a cheap and affordable way to access to visual culture in a sense. And that's then you go to museum, then you start to go to contemporary art galleries, and so you're like, you know, meet artists. And I started Dalbin, my company, in 2003, based in this idea of I want to bring the two family of artists from the music scene to like all these visual artists. First, it was more graphic design. So you remember the Pfadfinderei, and then François Chalet, and a lot of, and Bowling Club at the time, that were a French duo that we were working with. So it was more graphic design, and then it extended to contemporary art with artists like Xavier Veillant and Cyprien Gaillard, Camille Henrault, a lot of artists that were just like around us and that were interested in this idea to try something new, that were not in the like format that were supposed to be like you do a record, then you do a cover and music video, and, you know, so this was all for me too much of marketing.
Yeah.
Just music needs visual to sell. So you need to put, this is still true at the time, but I wanted to bring back music into art and trying to explore new ways. And also when you start to research in this, like this is nothing new, because relationship between visual art and music goes way back, almost like 30,000 years ago, when, you know, they were painting in cave with like song telling stories. So it's like all the religion used it with the organs in church, with like all the paintings and everything. So it was always very interconnected. I just happened to be at a moment where at the time my focus was that the instrument to create visual and music was the same. It was the computer. So it was like interesting. But now I'm like, it's much more open than this, because, you know, visual art can be also a sculpture or an installation. So it doesn't have to be video, or I would say digital. And same with the music. I like the idea to work with a string trio, or, you know, just a rock and roll band. So it's just Dalbin as a company first started with this idea of visual music and real collaboration to create an original piece that can be a live performance, and that can be a multi-channel video installation, and that can also be a single channel video that can be available for screening in festival or live broadcast of the performance while it's happening. And these are like forms that takes this creation, but I really think at the heart of it, it's like the artist meeting each other, spending time together, working together, creating. Is really, for me, the art form is there. It's like the art of the encounter is inspiring artists themselves. It's something inside, you know, that really transformed them. And, you know, I was lucky enough to have a public cultural institution in France, like the Centre Pompidou or the Maison des Arts de Créteil, that believed and, you know, supported my vision and this project. And, you know, we were part of their yearly festival or programming, so that we could produce this within the context of public culture. We are very lucky in France to have like fundings for this kind of project. So it was I never had to worry about you know, sponsorship, or, you know, this being a marketing tool for, you know, brands or stuff. It was really like more a research and development within art, trying things, you know, and so and also as a producer, you need to find the balance with, I would say, how and to who you sell these works of art, because there needs to be money for artists to create. And, you know, so it's also questioning the market. The market is also that we produced a lot of video and multi-channel video installation, and it's still 0.4% of the art market. So it's really non-existing still. You know, it's mainly on the market, painting, sculpture, you know, a bit of photography and drawings. But so it's not that I choose to be niche. It's just that it happens that what I'm doing is at the frontier of what exists, where I see it's going to be going, you know, like, and you know, it's not yet, you know, completely there, but it's very exciting to have like super good musician working with super good visual artists and co-creating works of art. It's what I want to do. I don't really care that it's like what sell. Like I'm never was thinking like so we make a marketing study and like we find out because we talk to like 1,000 people that this is what sells, or, you know, yet I'm like trying to be I would say, true and not like of what sell, what is the market, to also understand what is this. So that's why recently I've launched a project that is called Collector Series, and we like it's like new forms of exhibition that is online. It started with the COVID, crisis. It's a project that also I've been researching for many years, like trying to think about like new ways to show art, to bring art to people that are not going to museums and galleries, and video is a technique that I've been dealing with since a long time, so I kind of know my way around it, and it's a great way to show art. So each episode I invite a curator. This curator define a theme and select based on this theme 10 artists, and for 10 work that we sell, that we show on the website through a video. So 1 minute each work. So and you have all the like editorial information about who's the work, what is the work about, who's the artist, the gallery. We make the deal with the gallery to be inclusive. So the art market is also with gallery that do a great job like in supporting the artists. So we want to have all these people part of this project. It's just a new way, like you press play and you discover 10 works of art based on a theme. So the first one was with a French curator. The one coming in February is an American curator. The next one is a Colombian curator. So it also gives, even to myself, I meet, I discover a lot of new artists. There's so many interesting artists around the world that, especially right now, like all the shows are canceled, galleries are closed, museums too. So it's also, again, like trying something, see how it works and kind of enjoy it. And we're starting to build this audience. And, for the next episode, we'll start to have a voiceover, because we understood that, voiceover is a way also to give information about the work that will work well. We use YouTube as also a platform with the YouTube channel to bring contemporary art to a large audience. Still, I always try to stick to quality. Like really, that's, I think, I'm obsessed with, trying to have the best quality. Perfection doesn't exist, but, it's like where I try to go with this project to, it's a very refreshing for me.
Okay. I enjoy listening to you, because I ask you like a little thing and you're talking.
Yeah, and then I can
not
start
in a bad way. I like it. I like that, because it's like I'm just trying to analyze you, because what's the main question I have, because you were talking about a lot of details, but I have to always take a step back, is that you were saying that you're trying to be in front of something. So this feeling, I'm very interested in this feeling, because that when you have that feeling and you take action towards that feeling, you take risk in life, because obviously I'm also an entrepreneur who wants to be always innovative. Like I have a hard time to do the standard thing, like so I always have to do the next thing. And I think we are both in our own areas, we are drawn to do this next thing. Like we feel depressed if we do the standard thing. That's what I said when I went to Pompidou, and like any museum, you see the standard things, and then suddenly, out of all the museums that I've been, and it's like a gazillion museums and shows, then suddenly I see something strange, and it's from you. I haven't seen you for a few years, I think, before that. And it was funny, I was with my daughter, so I was very impressed. I was happy to see that, there is something new and it's created by you. And that's not, I would like that, you see something by me accidentally in your life, and wow, it's by Nicola. That's, I think, really, every designer, every innovator, everybody who starts something wants that. That's a really nice feeling. And so I'm interested in that feeling. I'm guessing that you are not you don't see someone doing something and you do it. You seem like a person who just like, this needs to be done for like a random reason. Like you wake up and it's like, this needs to be done, and you take the risk and you just have the energy to do that. Is that correct? Yeah.
That's one thing that it's, I would say it's a lot about like time to think, I would say. And also because I'm a autodidact, you know,
like all of us, yeah.
I haven't been like formatted in some ways, which is also, you know, it has its advantage, and that's how I am. It's also has its flaws because, you know, there's a lot of methodology and things that, you know, you learn in academic structure that are also helping when you want to run a business, when you have to assess, you know, it's so, but, you know, there's books and you can always read and learn and meeting and discussing with people and having mentors, or, you know, so it's, you know, it's just, or it's like learning by doing, as they say. And, you know, it's sometimes it's the hard way, you know, but I would say it's since I'm never been with a salary and within this kind of structure, it allowed me to feel free to just follow. And it's almost like that's like how I am structured now. So it's the way I process. So I would say that each project that I am involved is not like one day I wake up and I start to do something new. It's more like years of gathering information, of processing, of questioning, of writing down ideas and, you know, refining them, letting them sleep for a while, and then suddenly, boom, the moment has come, you read them and you just adjust little thing and they're ready for, you know, to be, you know, worked on. Just like Table Video was something interesting in the process, because I've done a lot as a producer in helping artists to produce video installation. And video installation is basically screen or video projector with cables and computer to play, and like amplifier and speakers for the music to make it, and software to play all this, you know, and space, you know, and material to like to place all these hardwares. And I've done for many years this video installation as a temporary installation. So it was like for live show, or for even when it's an exhibition, it's not permanent. It's like semi-permanent or temporary. So it's like there has been a moment where I've been invited by Philip Stark, because I invited him to do a live show on stage with sound artist, and so to invite him outside of his, you know, normal work field, I would say, and just also to address his passion about sound. So he loved this project, and, you know, a couple of years after, somehow he invited me in the field of architecture and design, and it was the first time I could learn from him, thanks to him, how to apply all the knowledge I had, bringing together content, so video and music, hardware, all these computer and screens and stuff, and software as something that it's just one thing, and you how to work with a designer or an architect to bring this within the context of architecture. So for permanence. So it's also I started to learn a lot of new things, because it's different to just like renting, for instance, a screen, to like search from all the screen and buy the one you need. And, you know, it was the beginning of like a whole like area that I did not know. I had like a skill, and then I could apply it also to something that for me right now, I have a lot of pleasure working with architects that have, you know, to work with their clients. And at first, all these architects, they use normal materials like, let's say, wood or steel, and they work with, you know, fine craftsmanship. You know, that's what they sell, like these very refined materials and way to process them. And digital was something that, I mean, really, they could not care less. This was not part of their vocabulary. This was something almost they were totally reluctant to just, you know, integrate in their project, because it's another material, like I would say digital material. And so, but now their clients, they ask for this. So they are happy that I'm like, hey, you know, like I understand your vocabulary of what you want to say, what you've been saying for all these years with like choices. And it's an amazing, I would never be able to be an architect, you know, like, and make all these choices that, or interior design, like the combination between lights and furniture and like, and space. It's like, it's their vocabulary, but I understand it somehow, and I can make this link and propose something that both can, we can talk with the architect, and I can talk also with the final client, so that they also always have needs. And so it's trying to balance all this and propose something from the study, I would say, understanding all this, to buying everything, producing the content, and installing, and to maintenance now. So it's really also like very interesting to bring time as an element that for now it was never like it's very interesting to like, what is this installation is going to be in 5-10 years, you know, and is it going to be relevant? Like I don't care if you want to do digital, if it's just to have screens, like what do you need these screens for? What is the purpose of it? How it's going to evolve within time, and what it tells about you, your brand, or your, so it's about the space. Is it really necessary? I'm almost, you know, always asking the question of like, you know, sometimes, you know, simplicity is great, you know, so, and Table Video is, I would say, almost a ready-made. So, you know, it was 4 years of research and development. I had no clue how to manufacture a table. I mean, that was like such an abstraction. Now I know techniques to, you know, to have a steel, to laser cut, to fold, to weld, to paint in certain and different ways, to polish, or to, you know, how to assemble things. So it's been so inspiring for me to also be able to not be in digital immaterial, but in very like to understand different materials, also marbles and wood, and how to combine this. And so Table Video is one finished product that that is inspiring, and that now I focus on inviting artists to create original video that are created specially for this table, because like the tabletop have a screen, has a screen under a glass top, so it's, you perceive the screen, not the screen, the image horizontally and from the fourth side. So it's different than like a screen on the wall. So you could say a screen on the wall is a vertical image, and the screen within the table allow you for an horizontal image. So it's also trying to have them looping, so you don't have like a beginning and an end. So it's more like a moving material that you can change and also create lights. And so now we approach this project as this is a video installation, and that is also a table. So it's a functional table. I invited a real designer that was working at the time for Philippe Starck, that is Ambroise Magyar, and he's now an independent designer based in Milano. And because I'm not a designer, so I like this idea of inviting, like, you know, people that know what they're doing, industrial design, and to design furniture and to make choices. And so then, you know, I bring artists and technology, and at the end, it's, I would say, a ready-made installation. So if you're like a hotel or a company for your waiting room, or if you like you're a collector and you like this artist, it happens to be like that this artist did this video for Table Video, so you can buy this artist, and you have in the middle of your living room this installation, this works of art from this artist that you love, and it happened to be also a functioning table that you can use, and like it's you can go and dance on top of the table. It's like a really and we now can ship it worldwide. So it was a lot of a learning process to how to be able to ship it to even like South Korea, or, you know, like how to go through customs with all the equipment inside. We shipped it to Doha recently, and, you know, so I like to learn by doing all these things. So it's Table Video exists now, and will continue to develop. We are launching by the end of the year a new model, and you know, still discussing with new artists to create new video. And we do this, like in French we say sur mesure, custom-made video installation for clients. So it's mostly for I would say luxury brands right now, through architect that needs, like, we're working on a new like 22 screen video installation that will be delivered in March, and it's you know, I even designed the structure that hold all the screens together, and I work with a software engineer, Paul Lacroix, that is based in Tokyo in Japan, that is like super master of synchronized screen and how to, you know, program and you know, display high quality content on multi-screen. So it's a conversation that I love to have with architects, because, you know, they had the material in the building, and trying to understand what the architect imagine, and you know, proposing something and actually doing it, you know. And then it's like also being available for the client when they need to update content, to propose solution. So this architecture and design field is kind of new for me and very exciting, I would say.
Sorry.
And then
No, I love this interview, because it's just I'm listening to you and I'm enjoying what you're saying, but I'm also thinking that maybe you were in the house for a very long time alone.
No, I have my wife and my son.
Okay.
So I have other people to interact with.
Okay. So, no, in a sense that maybe people didn't ask you the questions I did, because the other day I had a meeting with someone and they asked me, how are you? And I was talking for like 20 minutes about my life, you know. So, but I'm by no means I'm not enjoying. I'm enjoying very much, you know. It's just, I mean, it's like an enormous amount of energy, and you know, you're probably talking to everybody with this energy, which is the best example, which is the best answer to my questions, because what I'm asking you, instead of you answering directly to my questions, you're answering with your energy, with your, you know, motivation, with your focus, you know, like you're only able to think about the next thing or the thing that you're doing now, and it must be done, which is what I remember about. It's like, hey, you know, Eric, do you want to do this? Yeah, but then it's like immediately about, you know, it's like tunnel vision, you know, in a positive way, you know. It's like only this thing, and that's how I remember it for 20 years, you know, and I'm enjoying that. I think it's really great, because I'm seeing a lot of similarities between the way you approach and, other people that they interviewed, whether they are from, other industries or like Rafael or something like that, so it's very, although you are one of the most extreme ones in tunnel vision, like focus, like super mega focused on your own thing. And which is, again, I like it, by no means it's a description, I think it's very good, and I think it's very interesting,
It's good. I have like a tendency to be very, like you described, tunnel vision, but it's also important. And I think, for instance, my wife, she's helping me about like this by the conversation that we have, because she's also, she was into technology, and she was Wellesley and MIT. And then she worked early at Google. So like also to have like a larger picture and also understand how to also it's good to be focused, but also to embrace a larger vision and trying to learn how to manage time that you spent on different projects. And
you are impulsive, but your impulses last for a decade.
I am very like persistent. I would say I don't like to. I like this idea to. I think times is a very important element in ideas, and like and work plus time, like you that's creation. You can you can make something that and sometimes it's only relevant to me, I feel, but or to the artist or the people, like I still search ways to address larger questions. And
well, why would that be necessary? I mean, I'm the guy who likes that meta description and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's only empty talk. What matters is doing the
but it's also interesting. It's interesting. I think in the conversation it creates with more than like the few people that are involved in a project. It's like either it's like you produce something and there's an audience for it that just like enjoy receiving it, or like that it address a need for an industry to of a service that is is makes sense at the right time, and so that you kind of right now we are working on augmented reality for the art market I have partners on this project, and we like scan sculpture, let's say, or furniture, and even small architecture, and bringing this very high definition, both geometry and texture, into augmented reality technology, which are now also ready to be like web AR. So you don't need to install anything. You just can integrate this into websites. So for, let's say, a sculpture, it's great to be able to just play it on the table of your living room and turn around it, come closer and see details, go further and keep it at scale. It's like, and it's also very user-friendly now, and so it's very interesting, and we have a lot of I would say gallery and potentially cultural institution that are interested by this technology that is really also again based on human, because it's not just like, oh, you have like a, we don't do the scan with an iPhone, it's not like, it's very technical between combination of photogrammetry and scanner to have good texture and good geometry. And so it takes a lot of, it's not something that could be done by a machine. It's really like you have to understand what you're looking at and what needs to be shoot then, for instance, to be able to create the 3D model out of it. And so it's very exciting, because it's sometimes you feel like, oh wow, what I'm doing is relevant to like this industry that we know very well, like the art market, and I'm happy to be able to, you know, to contribute to help art, indirectly or directly, artists. I would say like there's this common trend to all the projects I've done is really like somehow I serve my vision, I would say, but my vision is to serve the artists, to help them achieve, you know, creation or sell, or, you know, it's a different element of the same, you know, reality. And
but you always have a new way of doing it.
I question things. Yeah, I like to learn new things. Right now, I'm like, you know, reading books about photogrammetry, and like, you know, it's also interesting. Something you think is new, it's like 40 years old, and there's a lot of literature, scientific literature about a subject, and to learn about it and understand that something that you discover that we all tend to think, oh, this is new, as an history and like, you know, learning help me build, you know, this ability to then discuss with like engineer and clients and artists. And so it's like I would say perpetual research. We always learn, and I think you're the same, like, you know, not like accept the status quo and like we, you know, like it's more like, you know, the world has been always, you know, evolving and transformation, and change is a lot of time not easy for a lot of people because of fear of change, or, you know, so it's I just happen to be having this kind of software that, you know, I'm always searching for change, what's new, what new or innovation can be done. But I don't think in terms of like innovation, I just do it. It's very instinctive, I
Exactly,
would say.
Yeah, black box.
Yeah.
Anyway, you told me we have until 12, so which is 5 minutes. So
okay.
Sometimes I forget, but now I remember. Do you have any questions for me?
What happened about your art project? What are you still dedicating time to art?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Well, I write poetry, so for me, that's, I think, like of all the ideas that I have, the best output was a poem. You know, I would always love to do something that you work with, or kind of like what Raphael does, or other artists. But you know, because I get an idea, and then I let it stay in my brain for months, sometimes even years, and I think how it can be this, how it can be that. But somehow it's always best as a poem, you know, and then, you know, kind of, you know, it ends up as a poem. So it's not very amazing. It's glamorous. It's like one of 500 poems, you know, somewhere on a website. But I intellectually and emotionally, I'm very productive. But because the output just seems like a perfect output. I mean, putting more, making it into more, at least the ideas that I have, making them into more would seem a little bit fake, because I always try to find what is the most efficient vessel for the idea. So if I'm making it into something bigger than that, it just seems it's more about the medium rather than the message, you know, because the message that I want to convey, the emotion, it's just like poetry is perfect. There is no need to add anything on it, you know, at the moment. You know, I never had an idea so far, you know, and I mean, you know, all my art was before that was text based, you know, databases and text, you know, very strange lists of words, basically.
Yeah,
you know.
or list of website like the
Yeah,
list,
like texts and stuff. And I'm not, you know, it is visual. I mean, it is text is visual, poem is very visual, you know, but it needs to be done in a specific way visually. But it's not the visual, it's not a photo, it's not a graphic, it's a very specific thing. So I'm stuck with this, you know. I think that's my way, like Mandalorian, that's my way. And my projects, my business projects are the same. I'm stuck in this kind of making these lists, you know, of things. and then people sharing these lists or adding to the lists. So that's how I see it. Just like you're very much into putting people together and sound and visual, and now you're going into objects, but it's always a visual, not text. And I'm kind of stuck with text, and that's it. It's always a text. I love everything else, of course, but when I produce, I think I'm really good with text. So I like that. With words, because kind of words create images in the head, and I like that. I kind of never liked someone putting on, like, seeing a finished image. That's kind of like, I mean, it's fine. It's great when you see. I was talking to someone last night about, the Monet and Lautrec and Rodin and all this stuff. So we had dinner with some British people, and then I was remembering all these images. They're very specific images. But when you have specific images in your head, that's kind of like, it limits your ability, to create an image. So that's kind of, and text gives a little bit more freedom. But then, it limits your ideology. So I don't know.
Yeah, text is your thing, has always been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
And also the idea of meeting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was always like meeting a nice restaurant. Was like very inspiring for me also at the time. I loved.
But that I did a biennial after that. I did the same. It was called Something New, and the artists could do whatever they want in a city for 24 hours. And we did it in London, and we did it in Chicago, I think. And we had 60 artists, I think, in Chicago. It was very big, a long time ago. So yeah, but everybody likes to put people together. I mean, it's fun. That's like a human thing, So it's just, what differs is, I think, why you put people together. Yeah. I mean, putting people together to meet each other is normal. I think if you're a little bit extrovert, open person, then you end up doing this all the time, So that's kind of your need, be it like locally or internationally, the way you and I do it, Cool. Well, I really enjoyed talking to you. It was great.
Same, Nicolas. Thank you for inviting me.
I was thinking maybe we can do another one a bit later, maybe with your wife as well.
Yeah,
that could be interesting, because I mean, she's also an entrepreneur, as I remember. Yeah.
Yes.
And so that could be fun, and or maybe with more people. I don't know. Think about it, and we can do something. Yeah, cool.
And I have one last question. Are you still like doing Ironman and stuff like this?
No, I'm still no. I just started running again. I don't know how do you stay fit? I mean, you're always fit.
It's just like, it's been like this, it runs in the family. It's genetic. I don't.
Very lucky. Yeah, I'm the kind of person who gains weight and then I have to lose it. I have a constant yo-yo. I go from 90 to 60 so I vary about 33% of my weight goes, so I'm constantly going up and down. So I have to spend a lot of money on clothes. I cannot wear clothes a long time. So just constantly every 5 years I have to buy new stuff. So, or I have different storages for different weight. So I have weight 60 kilos, 70, 80. Now I'm at 80. I'm started training again. So, but I mean, Ironman was fun because I mean, it's just such a weird thing, such a strange thing to do. Like,
so intense, so obsessive, so like dedication to be able to.
I don't know. I mean, like all of us. I mean, everything we do is like that. Like Deschamps, who played chess, I think, for 10 years now. Like, I mean, all the people do that kind of stuff. Like, they take 5 years to do something strange, and then they go fishing. It's just that we don't notice, Like, it's just not so. The Ironman is very, very obvious. That I would say that, because, for example, if you start fishing or playing chess, it's not going to disturb so much. People are not going to maybe notice it. Or if you're running for a marathon, because there's not so much time. But it's just that Ironman that's why people like to do Ironman, because it's so obvious. And then they like to show it off. It's like Harley Davidson. I didn't like that about Ironman. But I mean, if maybe you're a passionate fisherman and people don't know, like, because maybe it's just, it doesn't show, so it's not so obvious, So, but yeah, I'm not doing sports competitively anymore. That also was my project, to connect to people rather than, because for me it was more interesting to be a sports activist, to have a club, I sponsored a lot of people, many world champions, nobody in France, unfortunately, but a lot of people, you know, from different countries, including Lisa and Will and Conrad and Fraser, etc. So, you know, there was a lot of great athletes there. So I met a lot of people. It's a whole different world from art and design, but in a way it's the same. It's like the same level of network, the same level of kind of creating new things. Instead of making art, they're making products like bicycles and inventing new methods to go faster. And, you know, it's always the same need for people to do something. And, you know, wherever you go, it's always the same thing. You know, then you realize this is what people are. They always want to do that crazy stuff. You know, they cannot relax. Anyway, thank you very much. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Talk to you soon, you too.
Ciao.
Ciao.